You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. Old Capmeister here. And no more than a couple days ago, I was on Donovan Sharpe's show, one-on-one with Donovan Sharpe. I think it's behind his paywall. But he had a bunch of people sending in questions, and we didn't have the time to get to them all. So I said, hey, do you want me to field those? And so he sent them over to me. And so this would be for you guys. And then maybe if there's any other questions. I was even kicking around doing like a finance podcast, but I send in your financial questions, but man, I got enough on my plate. So anyway, this is in no particular order. On one hand, Aaron says that the only really important things in life are people, yet in many videos where 130 IQers, right, he recommends that they find something to do in life that challenges them, since they won't find a whole lot of people they can actually stand hanging around with. Can you talk a little bit more about how he ended up doing it? I'm failing at it. I'm not doing it. Just so you know, at the same time, I'm succeeding as good as anyone I can guess. But yeah, there are some things, and I think we even talked about on Donovan's show, that sometimes there's no answer. Sometimes there's no solution. Aaron, I'm $100,000 in debt. What do? Well, the answer is you're going to suffer. You're going to have to work, 2 jobs and all that money, no fun and a lack of sleep, and you have to pay off your debts. And, I got the herpes. What do? I guess you just suffer, because we don't go back in the Wayback Machine. Although this isn't the Wayback Machine. This is a function of your IQ or any kind of eccentric personality trait you happen to have. But yeah, you try the best. So I'll read the rest of the question here. I'll give you maybe a little bit of individual things I do. As I understand, he found a woman he could stand being around. It describes it. God, but they're all like that, guys. She's a real sweet, nice lady, but God, man, just make some food, please. I don't care. And he has his hikings and travelings to keep him busy, and he has his consulting as some form of challenge. Yes. How much does he do with friends? All right. Well, how do we want to approach this? That is all true, and that all helps. And yes, people are the number one thing. And obviously, you would try to find people to put in your life. Now, traditionally, this has been you fall in love, you get a wife or a husband, you have kids, and that would be your life. But as some of you are well aware of, the whole dynamic, the relationship between men and women has been put topsy-turvy. And I'm not saying this to be edgy. The government has replaced men. And I'm writing through this for an upcoming book called Analyzing the ROI of the Pursuit of Women. And that is changing. Now, I've always said girls still want to get married and they still want to have kids. The question is, do they want to be a wife and do they want to be a mother? And then you get into divorce statistics and happily married statistics. It's abysmal. And what's worse is it's getting worse, because those statistics are pulled from happily married, which means boomer and silent generation people, which is going down. So once Gen Z and Xers and millennials, get married long-term, they're going to have even less success, I forecast. But I mean this very clearly. Women in particular, men have been replaced as the number one thing in life. And what's replaced us is not necessarily government checks, but certainly their career, their politics, some other non-human entity. The traditional relationship was they be the stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, raise the kids, real job, work on the house, that's a real job. Gotta go make money, fight war. So now that's different. Now women have their own career. And I would even go so far as to say, especially in K through 12, certainly college, women are pushed. And so I hate to use the word brainwashing, but it's applicable here. But they are definitely pushed that you don't need a man. I mean, think of that statement. You don't need a man. Well, okay, I guess I don't need no woman, but what the heck else am I going to do? They're kind of fun. And a lot of these gals, you start seeing an increase in the frozen egg industry and all this. They're running into hard limits set by biology. And so it's proof that this is the new normal. So without a family, so ideally that'd be number one. You find a family, you create your own family. What if you can't find somebody, which is an increasing reality, drastically increasing chances? What if you don't want to have kids like me? I never wanted to have kids. All right, well, then you go hopefully you find someone else. But if you can't, then you got to find something else, man. And the other variable I'd like to introduce to this is time. Like I was wrong. I was so wrong when I was in college because I thought these cool people I worked with work in security, which was, you wouldn't think it like, well, security would attract normal, an average level of intellectual people. All those people were geniuses for some reason. And they're really interesting characters. I thought, man, everything's going to be like this. We're all going to have a team. We're all going to be, and life happens. People get sent off overseas in the military. People go fly. I got a job in Dallas. Oh, I got a job offer in Seattle. Then people just get old. And maybe most of you listening are a little bit younger. It's coming, guys. It's going to come. And you're going to start noticing when you're about 30. I say, hey, where's John? Where John? Doesn't John? Oh, he got a girlfriend. Oh, all right. Traitor. And even without the girls, even without marriage, even without, people will get old and tired and they lose the lust for life. So what you got to do, it really depends, man. I think the world out there in terms of adventuring, I'll give you 10 years of novelty. Cause I remember when I was 30, I had some bad shit happen from 29 to 30 and I had it. I'm like, I am done doing what is right and what I'm told to do. I'm going to do what I want. It's, I think, the only time I went and put a trip on a credit card because I am sick and tired of this BS. I'm going to Glacier National Park. I'm going to hike. I want to see those damn mountains. And I'm sick and tired of not seeing the damn mountains because I got to pay off my house first. And that set forth on a decade, well, more than a decade now, that was 15 years ago, but there was a decade of where it was just awesome. And I think some people even here in the audience, I've couch surfed. I've crashed on your couch. I went over to Europe for 2 weeks, hung out with two people. It was really cool. And of course, all across the United States and Phoenix. And that will keep you interested and engaged for about 10 years. And then, I've said this before, what's on top of every mountain that you climb? Just more rock and snow, not even trees. Maybe every once in a while there's a human up there. But I don't care what it is. Your hobbies will lose their appeal. Your hobbies have a shelf life and they're no longer interesting. Then you get into this, I would say, junky fix where you got to find something like I'm going to do hang gliding now, which you can. But you're like, okay, now what? Well, maybe I'll get into kayaking. I like kayaking. Is it novel, as exciting as like climbing or motorcycle riding? No. But you're like, well, there's no one wants to do anything, man. They all want to. This is why it was really cool hanging Donovan, even though we could have done the interview and technology, like, come on out, man. Well, he's got the studio. It's like, this is life. This is living life. This is cool. This is interesting. This is a craft. This is, I would say, more than a hobby. This is a passion in the literal sense of the word. Not, I like the children because I'm passionate. It's my passion. I mean, like a real passion. So go pursue your passions, whatever that happens to be. And it can be work. Now, I'm incredibly thankful, incredibly fortunate, and incredibly lucky, although I was the one that came up with the dumb luck of having asshole consulting. If I was born 30 years ago, we wouldn't have had the internet for this to happen. I mean, it's timing too, but yeah, some kind of job. Like if you get and it's really dangerous to make your job your passion because usually it doesn't pay. You should always work a job that pays you the most amount of money not the most amount of money, but something you can do, something you don't loathe and detest, but pays you very well. And then you get agency there. What you're really trying to do, and you can look over on my fridge over there. I got a chore list. And it's about 20 chores. Yeah, most of it's healthy. Take your vitamins. Take your nighttime vitamins. Did you save money today? Did you work out? Did you do asshole consulting? Did you? And that gives you purpose and agency to keep your time occupied in a productive manner. But you, in the end, and I think all of you kind of experience this, especially with the lockdown and everything. You need to have physical human interaction. You can't just I love the masculine geeks, don't get me wrong, but Vince is over in the same neighborhood Donovan's in. And I get to hang out with Vince. It doesn't compare with being online because you need to insult him in person. You need to call him slurs in front of their face. Not the same as doing it on the internet. And man, if you could find people that can go out and do it, that's what. And then so things like Meetup is helpful. That runs the gambit. I mean, I've had some great running groups, some okay hiking groups, and then some not so okay hiking groups. But yeah, you just got, it's a constant hunt. And man, if you find a woman that's smart and treats you nice, she is worth her weight in platinum. If you find friends that go out and are not going to die, like my buddy Denver Ben, my buddy Denver Ben. Who else? Well, Vince, they're always up. Let's go do something. No, we're not going to sit here. We're going to have a cigar. No, we're going to go do a hike. And they're smart and intelligent on top of it. You just got to make sure you can appreciate them, but then also realize that life might pull you guys away. Nothing nefarious, nothing like bad. It's not like they did something to you. It's just that they go away. They get kids, or they move somewhere else, or they get old. They don't want to go out anymore. So it's obviously going out and dating and trying to find girls. Keep in mind, it's been a long time. I guess you guys got to do it online now, although that's cancer. But yeah, if you can go out there, be social, invite people out. Ideally, if you could become the nucleus of a social circle, like, hey, let's get together a crew and go here. Especially in your 20s, you'll be getting a lot of people that want to hang out. But then everyone, they get engaged or they go away or whatever. They got kids. And he has his consultants. How much does he do with friends? I do with friends, but as I also said, with friends and dating nowadays, I think you got to be like the United States military. You got to bring the war to them. So I will travel to other people. What really helps are if you're young enough, I'm almost saying, like, dude, forget exactly what your job is. As long as you can do it from a laptop, that's the best thing, because then you could go visit your buddies. Because most people have jobs, they can't go. So I always bring the war to them. I go bring my friendship to them. They let me crash for free. Same thing with dating. Elkins, he'll fly across the country. Why? Because it's worth $120 airplane ticket rather than him spending $1,000 in cash and opportunity costs a month going out to clubs and nightclubs or bars and trying to pick up gals that way. It's like, wow, I found this really cool gal over in Tucson. Well, I guess you fly out to Phoenix and drive down to Tucson. So that's it. What comes first, the Kia or the vasectomy? Oh, vasectomy. Yeah. Look, dude, that thing down there is what Tom Likas says. Like, it was like little credit cards. That's what, I mean, it is. That's your biggest liability down there. That's where all men get in trouble, right? Legally getting in fights, fighting over a girl, whatever. You make sure that you don't have to. It's up. You do the research on vasectomies, but yeah, vasectomy would come first and then the Kia. It doesn't have to be a Kia, by the way. Any of you can go to Southside Auto and get yourself a totaled out car. Oh, darn it. Where did that go? There. Can Aaron talk about how much the United States economy is based on overconsumption? I mean, mathematically, I think I can even nail it down. I think it's 70% is consumption. I'd have to, maybe it's 6. The majority is consumption, not investment. Do you want to back out government spending on that? But overconsumption, that's an interesting word, because what is overconsumption? Here's a clever way we could look at it. As an economist, you're like, well, I'd like to measure X. Well, there's no real way you can mathematically measure X. So we got to think of other things. And right, I mean, we could go look at the NIPA figures and find out what percent is consumer spending. But then what's overconsumption? I think using obesity rates is a good proxy measure for overconsumption. The percent of people that have, credit card balances in excess of a certain percent of their income. But I think obesity shows you what percent of people are actually over-consuming food, and they're probably no doubt over-consuming. I mean, what you should do, I mean, if I wanted to be a real dick about it and have a high standard, I'd say the percent of people that carry a balance on their credit card. Like, I got a credit card, but I pay it down every month. So I don't carry it. But if you are borrowing money and you cannot pay it back because you don't make it, you are over-consuming credit card. Now, you got a house, you got a mortgage. Okay, that's rent essentially. So I wouldn't consider that. I'd say anyone that has a car that costs more than $5,000, you're over consuming. You need transportation. You don't need that. And they always go, but I need a reliable car. You could get a great reliable car for $5,000. Let's just be honest. You're spending 15 grand more. And that doesn't even include the interest costs of your car or the insurance costs of your car for prestige and status to look nice driving the car. My Kia Rio, old as it was and ugly as it was, it transported me the exact same miles, probably more than you did or your cars do. So I'd say so I guess mathematically or using economics as a definition, oh, come on, where'd it go? It would be rolling or where you carry over a credit card balance, and any of you that have a car that costs more than $5,000, or if you're obese, those would all be proxies. So 75% people are over consuming. You don't need that. Your behavior indicates it. Any thoughts, if you've read it or heard of it, on the millionaire fast lane way to thinking to growing your wealth? I'm curious how this jives, if at all, with a minimalist lifestyle of living. The idea essentially being that working with conventional retired methods is slow but steady way to accruing wealth. But by the time you're 65, you won't have the energy to enjoy like you would in your 30s and 40s. I'm sure I'll butcher it, but according to MJ DeMarco, you need leverage and amplification to grow your wealth and finances. Thoughts on this, Cappy? Look for you to see it on Donovan's show. I'd have to read the book. So it's going to be an unfair critique of it or an opinion of it. But based on what you told me, it's like, dude, bro, leverage up. No. I mean, yeah, you can leverage up. You can, and you can throw the money in the stock market over time. If your interest rate is 4 or 5% on a loan, and you put that in the market provides, depending on how diversified a portfolio or whatever you want, 8 to 9%. Throwing dividends 10 to 11. So yeah, you can do that. But dude, what pisses me off, the fast lane, millionaire fast lane, like, no, really, you're going to tell me how to be a millionaire? Well, no, I don't. Why don't you just go be a millionaire then? Don't tell me how to do it fast or quick. This just sounds like, the easy way out, life on easy mode. What's the code? Give me the cheat code to life, as Rich Cooper would say. So the slow and steady, it's not sexy, it's not amazing. But what's great about being a minimalist is that you don't need that much money. Like right now, I'm richer than Bill Gates. If for any other reason, I got time. I'm going to live longer than him. He'd gladly pay me his billions to swap out of our positions. Steve Jobs is dead. Everybody's richer than him, no matter how many billions he happened to have. And so I would say, as a minimalist, yes, especially when you're younger, dude, I understand, man. You guys are like so sick and tired of being poor, and you just don't want to starve. You just try to get through those basic Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but you don't need the BMW 7 Series, brah. You don't need your MBA, brah. You don't need to go get bottle service in Vegas, brah. Just go and save your money. Buy cheap, crappy cars. And I'll get into some resources. I'll talk about finances and some other guys' books. They're all in the links down below, but we'll talk about them a little bit. But that's how you're truly rich, is you are free. You don't have to work. And I've talked about this on Donovan's show, where I said, it's not your money. It's not the crap you buy. It's the fun stuff, is the people and your hobbies and your adventures and your travels. And I hate to sound like YOLO. Oh my gosh, how millennial I just can't even. My avocado and toast, but not that you only live once. Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? It's if you're missing out, YOLO with avocado and toast. They want experiences. When they pull out, they want experiences. You're right. You don't want debt. You don't want a fancy car or a Cadillac Escalade you got to make payments on. You don't want a house in the burbs that's way bigger than you need, but your trophy wife demands it because she's got to be queen bee of the neighborhood. She got to impress her friends. Yeah, go travel. Better Bachelor. Go look at Joker. He travels the world. Now he's gonna fix up his bus and he's gonna go drive around. I think he's gonna drive to Alaska. And good for him. So he's gonna have a much better and richer life than somebody who makes the millions of dollars. I'm not saying leverage isn't an effective investment strategy, if you know what you're doing. But the problem is, you also go, here's if you can't file for bankruptcy if you don't have debt. See, if you don't have debt, you're not going to file for bankruptcy. You can't go broke. So what you need, is the interest rate really low? Are you sure this investment's going to go up? Which you don't know. You have no idea because it's trying to predict the future. So me, I'm all for, go ahead, invest some money in the market, of course. And you can invest in crazy stuff too. Like I invested in Bitcoin, thankfully when it was very low. I have silver, and of course I have a 401k, or rather an IRA. But I rarely swing trade or try to time the market or anything like that. I'm like, I'm tossing some money here, I'm tossing some money there. And then you know what? I can get by in 30 grand if I need to, even less, because the house being paid off and whatever. Although I'll have a new mortgage once I get the new house all built. Yeah, once you have your house paid off, or you have no debts, no car loan, no student loans, dude, you're just fine. You can get by on very little, as long as you don't buy big, expensive, shiny things that you don't need. So yeah, anybody who says this is how you make $1 million, the millionaire fast lane, how to grow your penis 7 inches. No. What are some man hobbies guys can get into to enjoy and develop masculine traits or skills? All right. Mandatory one is you got to get to the gym. It's not fun, but for some people it is. I don't like the gym, but that's one thing you have to do. That's not a hobby. I think it's a chore. But I enjoy hiking. I enjoy motorcycle riding. I enjoy mountain climbing. Rafting. Adam Piggott, he was a whitewater rafting guide around the world. He's got a book out called Pushing Rubber Downhill. You might want to take a look at it. That's fun. That's masculine. I would say there's more intellectual and masculine pursuits. I think philosophy is very important. Studying the Stoics, becoming a Stoic. I would almost say that's mandatory. You're going to need it. But it really helps out men. But I think philosophy is not only helpful, but interesting. I'm going to go, I could study nihilism, I guess, but Stoicism especially. And I know you guys may not, maybe he's a bit, I like Molyneux. Molyneux is very, it's a good 101 introduction to philosophy. I would travel as well, but not like, oh my God, I'm going to travel, which means for most American women, I'm going to go to Paris or some other first world country or city and do the exact same things I do here that I do over there, that I do here over there, like drink wine and eat food. I want to go to Morocco. I want to check out some ruins in Sudan, which probably isn't the safest. I do my fossil hunting, shooting guns. Golf is a calming game if you do it right. You could do it cheap too, by the way. I always thought that too, that you had to be rich to golf. Nah, you could get used clubs for $30-$35 on the internet, and you're not going to need fancy clubs. You can't even use your clubs so it's going to take years before you actually have to get fancy clubs. And you go to your municipal courses. Cycling, that's kind of a cool adventuring thing where you could bike many miles and not need a car. I'd say auto mechanics, fixing auto mechanics, and also working on computers. I think that'd be those are good hobbies that guys can get into. Cigar smoking. That's also pretty cool. And then you can get into brewing, beer or wine or whiskey or something like that. So Aaron, how much do you dislike Bitcoin? I love the idea as an investment. I don't know, because I have no idea. I mean, it was 10,000. Now it's 15,000. It'll be back down to 8,000. I have no idea what's going to happen to it, but I like the concept of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And I'm even saying that people should have it as part of their diversified portfolio. Very much like I recommend people have 200 ounces of silver per person. I also recommend people have a Bitcoin, depending on its price. Some people say 2, some people say 10. I'm just 1, just so you have some. And it doesn't even have to be Bitcoin. You can have it diversified in a Litecoin or Ethereum or any of the other. Well, not any of the other ones, because most of those are scams or BS. Is it worth paying into pensions anymore? If they're funded and managed correctly, yeah. I mean, that's what a 401k is, or an IRA, or a thrift savings program. And if you get a match, yeah. But usually a pension, you don't pay it. You have a retirement plan where you pay into a fund, which then pays you out down the road. That's kind of a pension. But a classical pension, where after 20 or 30 years of service, you get a paycheck, you don't pay into that. Now, some places will have you pay into it. I think the unions, I think the teachers as well, government Government employees, I think maybe they have to pay into their pension. I don't like that because they mismanage the pension. And that's something you got to pay attention to. And I think it was Byrne. He was talking about how he had a pension. He'd ask his fellow employees. I think it was in the education sector. And everyone's like, oh no, like the government could just print it. Like they were truly ignorant about the fine. Like they didn't look. You get a statement that shows you what your pension's financial situation is, what its financial status is. But no one cared to look into that. But if it's funded and you know you're going to get it, sure. I would just be throwing your money into a 401k or IRA, because the question is then does the union or the pension manager lend the money out or use it for political ads or bribery over at lobbyists on J Street in Washington, D.C. So you got to make sure the money is there. What's the best way to go about buying property? What's the best way to breach the upper 5 figures? Well, the best upper 5 figures is get a good skill. You're almost guaranteed to be above 50 grand if you're majoring in engineering, computer programming, computer science, actuarial science, CPA. I got a book out called, here, it's right here. I got a book called Worthless. This would be a good review for you guys to go over, like what kind of degrees are out there that are worthwhile or worthless. So you'll break in upper 5 figures there if you just got even a good mechanic, get a master mechanic certification. So, and just working hard. Another way is you get another job, work 2 jobs. You'll make upper 5 figures then. Best way to go in buying property, pay cash for it if you can. But usually what you want to do is you want to get 20% down so you can avoid mortgage insurance. That's big. If you do not have 20% down, because now it's increasingly hard to get, 20% of 300,000 is 50 grand. No, 60 grand. If I did that right, 60 grand. A lot of people just don't have 60 grand laying around. So you'll put 5% down. You get 2 mortgages, one for the 80% and the rest for the 15%. And then there's mortgage insurance on that. And then what you got to do is wait for your house value to go up if it goes up. And then once you got 20% equity in the home, then you refinance, you get rid of the mortgage insurance. You don't have to refinance, you just get rid of the mortgage insurance. We say, hey, I got it appraised. Now I got 20% equity now. Stop charging me that. How come my phone isn't? Come on. But then the other thing, especially for housing, is I'd recommend, maybe I got that here. No, oh, here it is. This is the reason I wrote this book called Reconnaissance Man. It's not a long book, but it's an important book because what it does is it teaches you to go and explore the United States. Now, I didn't have one for the world because I haven't traveled the world, but at least in the United States, the problem is that people will move 3 or 4 times, buy 3 or 4 houses. Shoot, I know one couple, they're not even in their 50s yet, and they're on their 5th or 6th house. They keep moving. Well, you got to pay realtor's fees, which if you didn't know is like 7% between you and the seller, so 3.5% or 3% for you, 3.5% for you. And moving sucks. And it's kind of like, well, you'd save a lot of time and effort and money if you explored the country first and then figured out where you want to live. And then you just go live in Las Vegas, you go live in Dallas, you go live in Houston, you go live in Tennessee, you go live in Florida, wherever. And so, whereas I basically is like, I advocate people take a year-long road trip to go across the United States and check out all these different places. And they're always like, really? You think I should spend that kind of money? That kind of sounds fun. Well, it is kind of fun, but you're doing work. You're not like going there to have fun. You're going to sleep in your car. You're going to wash out a wayside rest stop sinks because you don't have the money unless you got a lot of friends you could crash with. Your lodging is going to be your car. And it's just tiring driving all over the place. You just drive. But find out where you want to live first. And if the world doesn't allow for that, maybe you can buy property out there first so that doesn't go up in value. And also now 10 years later, you might have the money, but it went up 3 times in price. That bit me in my ass. If I just bought property in South Dakota back when I wanted to, which I didn't have the money, I could have got my property for a song. Well, maybe not, but it certainly cheaper than what you have to pay now. So as long as you got, your 401k and your match, you got a little bit of money. And by God, I know I want to live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I never want to live anywhere else but Tulsa. Go buy a plot of land in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And that's research too. You got to go out and drive around, find it, and then you buy it. And then another thing you could do, especially if you're younger, is, if you're the first guy to buy a house in your group of guys and no one's 30 yet, like you guys are all under your 30s, man, rent it out to your buddies, get the rooms rented out to your buddies, and hire a cleaning service because your buddies ain't going to pay. Say, no, I'm paying a cleaning service. You're all paying for the cleaning service because I know you guys ain't going to clean. And then I knew this guy, man, he almost paid off his house that way because he just rented out to all of his buddies. That was a fun house. Hey, Cappy, where did the brilliant name of A-Hole Consulting come from? That came from me driving across Kansas late one night back from Denver. And I was trying to figure out, my mind was just wandering, and I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, people are sending me a lot of questions, not too unlike these. And I didn't have, because I wrote books on finance and investing. And I was like, oh, yeah, this, oh, yeah, that. I'm like, man, I do not have time to answer these people's questions anymore. And I'm like, but I don't want to be a dick either. So I said, hey, look, guys, I don't have time. I said, I got an idea. I'll come up with this concept of A-Hole Consulting. And it's honest. He says, look, I'm a dick. I'm going to charge you for money. I'm like, there's no way people. I'm like, this will generate a little bit of beer money. And then it ended up accounting for like 30% of my income. I'm like, okay, change your plan, guys. But yeah, it was out. It was the east side of Kansas. I know that. I was on the east side of Kansas. I know I was going northeast. So I don't know what road that is. Would Cappy relocate to Eastern Europe or South America in case the U.S. collapses and life becomes more dangerous, unstable, and unpredictable? Yeah, that's my next project. For 2021, we have Operation Evil, which I'll be beginning, but you won't know what it is because I won't be selling it to you guys. It has a different intended audience. But then also I will be traveling around the world, kind of doing reconnaissance in Southeast Asia and Central Europe and a couple places along the way because I look at the fundamentals, the financial fundamentals. This has nothing to do with Biden, Trump either. This has nothing to do with Democrat. I mean, the finances are horrible. And even more concerning than me in the United States is forget socialism, communism. I'm more worried about idiocracy. The people are getting dumb. They're getting incompetent. And they're also getting very wickedly cultish over their politics. Both sides, but more the left. I don't know how. Raise your hand if a woman said swipe left if you're a Republican or like Trump or something like that. Where I mean, these people, like, you are evil if you vote for low taxes. I mean, they want to silence you. Forget again, not necessarily the money or the politics. It's the censorship. Look at us. Here we are. We can't have an adult conversation. I have to say A-Hole Consulting. We have to talk about grapes and Bob's and Vagine. And even then, I forget whether it's monetized. I just want this stuff to get out there. Like, hey, here's how you save money. Oh, but he said ass. He said fart. And it's like having these school marms that just kind of, and that's what I'm worried about more than anything else is these psychopaths where they will put you on a cattle car. They need look at what they do to kids in school. Like the indoctrinate, like they have let the little kid be a little kid. He doesn't know if he's straight or gay. Leave him alone. He just wants to play with the damn truck. Leave the girls be. Let them put things in their hair. Whatever girls did back in the day. Yeah, and you look at how much people want to get involved in your personal life. That Orwellian nightmare that we're slowly being boiled into right now. That's really what's getting me. Because every day it's like, well, you can't say this because otherwise you'll be accused of this. It's like, shut up. And normally you could just dismiss these people and to shut up. But then, you got cancel culture and they go run to, Brendan Ike, for example, is a perfectly donated to a campaign that it was against gay marriage. And they fired him because he made a political donation in his personal life. I'm like, wow. I mean, let's say old Capmeister ran a company. As much as I disagree with communists and socialists and feminism and all environmental, all the variant forms of socialism, you have every right to do what you want in your private life. What kind of a tyrant do I have to be to say, you voted for this or you donated to that cause? Oh, well, you're fired. I mean, who's the real Nazi? Now that's happening. I mean, that is happening. And so that's why I think, yeah, for every guy out there and any gal that's interested in listening, you got to have, it used to be, I wrote a book called Poor Richard's Retirement. It was calculating the absolute minimum you needed to retire. And I got it down to 250,000. Now that was 4 or 5 years ago. So let's call it 300,000. So it's 300,000 to retire, assuming you're living a minimalist lifestyle. Now I'm thinking like, no, it's got to be 600, more like 700. And some of that money has to be invested overseas, or you have to own some property overseas, because you essentially need 2 retirements now. In case, I'm not kidding. In case the government says, oh, anyone with a 401k balance over this amount, we just take it. Well, what was I saving up for then? That was, you just enslaved my entire life, and we're just going to nationalize the 401k plans and the IRA plans. It'll be good. It'll be more equitable. No, you just enslaved a bunch of people. So that they're telepathing their moves on that. So if you're interested in that, there's 2 sites you can check out. Although I'll be doing my own study on it. Sovereign Man and Nomad Capitalist. I go Sovereign Man first. Nomad Capitalist, Andrew Hendrickson. A nice guy, but I think he's pricey, very pricey. But that's the next step. And, I know, guys, you're like, dude, I just paid off my student loans. I just opened a 401k account. I barely could put any money in it. And now I got to get another account, and I got to figure out international banking, or it's like, yeah, guys, you do. Yeah. Yay. Socialism. We care. All right. I think that was it. Yeah. Okay. And I wouldn't go to South America. I just, on account, I don't hate South America. Nothing appeals to me about it. I mean, maybe Chile, but they're about to redo their constitution, and it'll be all about feelings of what the world would like it to be. So that's not going to happen. Panama, I've heard good things about Panama and Belize. So maybe check that out. That might be something, some people, but I don't know. You got to have to take a look and figure that out. I have guys who've actually gone to Panama and they love it. So, all right. Before I get to the super chat, let me go through a couple resources. All right. So I talked about Worthless, Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major. Talked about Reconnaissance Man. If you're in the market for buying a house, drive around the country first. This book shows you how to guide it and do that. This prevents you from blowing $200,000 on a worthless degree. This prevents you from wasting about 50 to 60 grand on closing costs, searching costs, and moving costs over the course of your life. I was telling Donovan, I'm like, dude, why does anyone live in New York? He was like, what do you mean? Like, why does anyone live? Everybody in the New England, Northeast live here. You all end up in Florida anyway. So don't bother buying houses here. Just go to Florida. It's where you're all going to be. That's where you all end up. You have to be a black gentleman. Got the Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty. Obviously written for black men who are poor, want to get out. I've had questions people ask me before, like, oh, is this for Latinos too, or it's for white people? It's for everybody, but it is tailored towards the black community or the black man, because black men have the lowest standards of living and lowest life expectancies and highest, bad health rates and all these other things. So it is, but yes, the logic and the finances remain the same, though it is tailored towards the black dudes. But that's that. Who knows? Here's one. If you're looking to get into finance, this is probably my flagship book, Bachelor Pad Economics. It's almost 500 pages long, and it covers your finances from 14 to death. So things like going to school, going to college early. Don't wait to go to college. You don't have to be 18 to go to college. Go to college buying cars, not buying new cars. What is a 401k? What's an IRA? Taxes, starting a business, all the way up to estate planning, which is the polite way to say, put your will together because you're going to die soon. That's estate planning, because you pass on your estate to somebody else. Not that one. That. Yeah, I think those. So that Bachelor Pad is probably the more. And then another one, especially as it pertains to retirement, would be Poor Richard's Retirement. That's more instructional, and how to expand on retirement beyond what Bachelor Pad Economic does, and it shows you how to do it. A other book, this is all down in the links below, that you might also want to get, is Early Retirement Extreme. It's written by Jacob Lund, I believe. I think you can go earlyretirementextreme.com. Links down below. That's a good book too. That's more the numbers. Poor Richard's Retirement is some numbers and more theory. What's his name? Jacob's book is more numbers, like how to actually do it. And his website's cool. He's got a bunch of things on early retirement and minimalist retirement. Dave Ramsey's book, Total Money Makeover. That's good. A lot of people like, do you like Dave Ramsey? I'm like, I don't hate him. He's like, and then you have to do this, and your finances shouldn't include charity. I'm like, no, nope. He's religious, tithing, of course. But that's a new thing. Like, you should have a little bit for giving back. I'm like, dude, like $30 trillion is U.S. government spending over the year hasn't solved one social problem. Still got poverty, still got race and sex gaps. Just stop spending. Bill Gates is going to waste all of his money. He's going to waste all of his money trying to help out the poor and do it. Nope. It's like, go build another business. That's how you help out society. So I would not donate to charity. But yeah, Dave Ramsey is fine. If you go over the interview me and Donovan had, he has his baby steps, and I got some technical, polite disagreements. Like, I do this first before you do that. I wouldn't do this before you do that. But it's reading his book is none of these resources are going to hurt you. And then finally, also in the link below is I have my seminar on minimalism. That because I went on Donovan's show. Usually I only offer this once a month. I'm probably going to do it once a quarter. Because it's annoying to constantly open it up and tell everybody about it. But I did open it up for Donovan listeners. Well, I guess everybody too. You could sign up. There's a link down below. Since Donovan was on, you get I put a coupon code you can get. Type in Donovan, capital letters, Donovan. And you get 20% off. That is an expensive seminar. And people are like, well, why would you charge $500? Which it's only $400 when you get the discount on a seminar on minimalism, because you need to have pain. This is why I charge for asshole consulting. People need to have pain. It's the exact same psychology you deal with. Well, how do I quit smoking? How do I quit doing drugs? How do I quit drinking? How do I lose weight? It's all addiction. And so, whereas Jacob's book and Poor Richard's Retirement touch on some of these things, it doesn't go through the psychological hurdle that you go. And that's really what it is. Hey, how do you be a minimalist? Spend less than you make. Spend as little as you possibly can. And there you go, everybody. How do you lose weight? Stop eating so much. And good night, everyone. That people are still, it's a psychological hurdle. So the seminar down below addresses that in great detail. It also goes over some traditional methods to become a minimalist, namely how to get rid of your materialism. It really isn't so much about minimalism. It's how to expunge your desire to consume, how to purge that out of your psyche and your genetics. And that I think is the real value of the course, but it's also very expensive. So you have skin in the game, because I am so sick of people. If you paid $50, guarantee you, oh, my wife has a spending habit problem. Have her take my $50 seminar. She won't do it. You got that much money invested in it. Now you're invested. Now you're vested in this endeavor. And plus I make more money. I'll be perfectly honest. And I'm okay with that. So if you're having trouble spending more, you got that. All right. Let's see if there's any super chats here. Anthem. No, it's Miguel. Miguel Angel Casillas for $1. I don't know what the super sticker is. I don't get to see him through Streamlabs. Miguel Angel Casillas for $2 with the fry. Here, take my money. Xer Aaron, so edgy. I tune in between this and NPR. You know, I have to admit, NPR does have some okay. I like Money Planet. They don't have all bad shows. I mean, I know it's biased, but they're not bad. The Competent Man for $5. The worst thing about making a job your passion is that they eventually betray you for their own benefit or someone's personal gain. Here's another thing bad about making your passion your job. Whatever your job is, you're not going to like it. You're going to end up hating it. Maybe you won't hate it. You know, like I don't hate doing asshole consulting. It's kind of fun. But yeah, there's days I don't want to do it. I just took a week off. I took 2 weeks off. I might take off more time again. But yeah, the worst thing, and you see this, like it's been my passion to be a teacher. You don't see happy teachers. If you make your hobbies your job, that's the quickest way to have you hate your passion, to have no fun in life. So you definitely, you know, there's this one, how not to become a millennial. There's a chapter here about all the lies we told the millennials. And one of them is that your career is the most important thing in life. And I talk about the economic nature of a job. The economic nature of a job is prostitution. Give me money for my time. We're all prostitutes. We're all khurs, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're getting money. That's really the only thing. How much money am I getting? So that I can live my life. Kaijo Bomb, new guy. Welcome to the show. 10 Australian dollars. Hey, Aaron, if you were to go back to university, what degree would you study specifically, and what would you recommend to minor in? I would have gone computer science. I absolutely would have gone computers. Knowing what I did, I was going to be nuclear engineering potentially. It was that or economics, and I should have done nuclear engineering because I found physics so amazing. But yeah, I would do computer science in hindsight because you could program, and then you don't have to. You're location independent. I would absolutely do that. Then maybe accounting, get my CPA. I would have done a CPA. And then third, I would have done nuclear engineering, but that was only because I'd have an intellectual interest in it. Who knows? Maybe I'll go back and do a nuclear engineering. Taboo Smash for $2. Where should I go to learn the basics in economics? Economics in One Lesson. I think it's by Larry Hazlitt. Milton Friedman. What was his book? Hang on, let's take a look. I was going to say Thomas Sowell. Let me take a look at this. Henry Hazlitt, Economics in One Lesson. Milton Friedman. I'm trying to remember his. It was like Of Capitalism and Money or something like Milton Friedman. Capitalism and Freedom. That's the book. If you want to get really eccentric, go Murray Rothbard. But here, I'll tell you, this is all you need to know. Nothing is free. That's it. Nothing is free. And I would add, everything is transactional. Nobody does anything for free. People want your money. Money is time, and time is all you got. There's not a lot. Like, really, if you get to the point you understand, there's no such thing as free healthcare. There's no such thing as free education because I pay the property taxes on it. Then you understand. And you know what? Forget even learning basic economics. It's just simple common sense. Go educate and familiarize yourself with the federal and state budget, the state that you live in. Go to the OECD and look up some data on international countries. Look at different countries and look at their data. But learn what the federal budget looks like. I would also learn to convert things into a percentage of GDP. So you know what the deficit percent GDP, debt percent GDP. What else? Your basic things, unemployment, money supply. Go to the Fred database. Just look up a bunch of data. Because I'll tell you this, a lot of these economists out there, they don't know the data. They just know theory. This is why we should have more of other people's money. That's all it boils down to. Nearly every economist out there is a leftist, and they're going to say, we just need more of other people's money. That we need to enslave people more. That's all their solution is. Because it's popular to say, I want to provide free things, even though you're enslaving people. And usually it's to give a political rationale to a politician running to get votes. According to this study by BBD, it says we should get more of other people's money. Oh my goodness, he's brave and amazing. That person's going to give me free stuff. And though he doesn't necessarily talk about it all the time, I would go check out TFM on BitChute. His economic analysis is as dark and harsh as mine. A little repetitive, but still good. Go there, tune in. You'll kind of, because you're like, well, shouldn't you have other people listen to the other side, like the pro? Like, well, what? Like everything you got K through college, like the media, like every day. Jared Robert, oh, look at that sharp suit, man. $5. Cappy, thoughts paying cash for restored muscle car? Ooh, see, I want to do that. I had a guy, buddy of mine, Hero, and he wanted to get his dream muscle car. It was a Chevelle black chrome, beautiful car. I'm like, You got any student loans? No. You got any car loans? No. You got a mortgage? No. Okay. I was about to give him my blessing. I say, wait, you got any credit card debt? And then he got a little sheepish. I'm like, no, man. He's like, but come on. I like, no, man. And I'm glad I made him wait, because now, and here's another thing, Jared. So there's the rule. When do I get my toy? If you have your finances taken care of and you can pay cash for it, do it. All right. You're allowed to have a little fun. You don't want to just be minimal at the expense of enjoying your life. Okay? So that's okay. You get a restored muscle car if you could pay cash for it and you have no other debts. All right. However, and that can include your mortgage, like if your mortgage is paid down and okay. However, when there are financial crises and recessions, it's a great time to buy a collectible item. And I think maybe, especially with the boomers dying off and people not saving their money, like 7 years feast, 7 years famine. Yeah, maybe go look and shop around now, because if the economy recovers, those prices are going to go back up. Juan, the Aztec patriarch. We always got that. All right. The Competent Man, $5. When you get the new house built, don't you mean if? Ha 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 ha. Why not just rent a house with an option to buy instead of dealing with the boys, the contractors? Because it's a piece of property I wanted to build on. The house itself is not that big. It's not a fancy house. It's going to be the biggest thing I've lived in since I've left home when I was 18. I'm going to have like 2.5 bathrooms. Well, technically 3 bedrooms, but the 2 are going to be offices. It's not a big house, but it's on a nice piece of land that I enjoy. And it's like, oh, okay, I can look out here. I can get down to Custer real quick. Keystone. That's where Mount Rushmore is. So, and I don't know. I trust my contractor now. They're getting it done. Competent Man, $5. By the time you get your house built, will we be able to have Juan's graduation party for his master? It's Atham. Juan's not going to get, he's a mechanic. Juan's set. It's Atham. Is Juan getting his master's degree? Juan, are you getting a master's degree? Look, we have the quadruple race. It's Atham getting his degree, me finishing my house, Rich Cooper finishing his book, or Rolo finishing his book. And we're all just like, there's no time, man. I might have, just so you guys know, I might have some other people substitute for me this week because my voice is going. And yeah. Daryl Chanel for $10 fast. Just my thanks. You helped me get through the day. Good. Thanks, Daryl. Glad to help you out. And the Competent Man for $2 in Hungary. The government did take some 401k money. Yes, they did. I think Greece, they just took everyone's bank accounts. 33441-488 ALM, $2 Canadian. Thoughts on how much ammo to store for the SHTF? I don't know, a lot. I used to think, a couple hundred rounds per gun that I got. And I don't have like an amazing collection. I have like a couple pistols, a rifle, an AR-15, and a Taver X95X or X95, 95X. It's a bullpup carbine type of gun. And I have a shotgun. I'm not like, I need to get this pistol because it has this compound. I'm like, no, I have a pistol. I don't need any more. I have a small pistol for when I'm wearing a suit. I have a big pistol in case I run into bears while hiking. I have a medium pistol for humans that tend to want to kill me. So each one has it, but I have about 400 to 500 rounds for each. And you got to kind of cycle. You got to train, learn how to disassemble, reassemble, clean your guns. Every gun's different. But now I'm starting to think, I think more like 1,000 rounds per type of gun you have, per caliber of gun. And so, because I was like, boy, what if it's like, they don't get, you guys all take this economy for granted. Like it is amazing things are delivered to you, like by the Amazon man. It's, and just one little thing that goes wrong can put a chink in the supply chain and you're not getting ammo for 10 years. So I'd say 1,000, and not necessarily like we're going to war, son. It'd be more like, well, I don't want to look, do I want to set up snares and like hunt deer with a bow and arrow? No. I'd like to kill deer with the convenience of a gun. I'd like to hunt with a gun. So if I need meat, I'm not running around with a bow and arrow or coming up with snares of being a pioneer. So that's where I'd have enough ammo to last me to like where, okay, I have to hunt now. Though some of that would obviously be used for defense. Adriano Ramos, our Australian agent in the field for $2. Australian. I'm not a prostitute. I'm a courtesan. Dude, I have no, and I like to call them ladies of the evening. I have no problem. None. Because everyone's a prostitute. Everyone's a lady of the evening. Everyone. You're paid to do things you don't like. That's it. And then everyone's upset. See, if you pay for a bedroom relationship with barter, with items like, a wedding ring or a house, that's fine. You pay cash. Oh my God, that's illegal. Oh, shame. You can't get laid. And all you young kids listening, I don't care who you are, you all pay. You're all going to pay a price. It could be financial. It could be time. It could be both. And I almost guarantee you, son, you're going to pay a mental or psychological price as well. You all pay a price. My red Republican state is basically going under lockdown again. F. What state? I don't know. I'm even thinking about going on a road trip again. Cappy, I know you see all the happiness and joy. Cappy is getting a little stressed. I think I just need to go on a long road trip. Muay Thai Fighter 1000 for $5. New guy. Hidden Secrets of Money is a good YouTube series if you want the basics. EP4 is clear cut and eye-opening. Cool. Yeah, there you go. I've never heard it, but yeah, check out that site. Hidden Secrets of Money. That sounds good. Cool site. I won't because people are like, it's really kind of, they say, well, what do you think about the economy? What do you like? Dude, I used to be an economist. I was paid to do that. And I didn't like it. I don't want to do economics. Unless I'm paid for it. I don't want to be, the Competent Man, $2. Greece, Cyprus. That's what it was. Cyprus. I'm sorry. Thank you, Competent Man. When they took the bank account, called it a bail-in. Yep, that's what it was. Rahul, our East Indian agent in the field, for 100 Indian rupees. Thanks for your advice on my spending guilt. Built a brand new gaming PC for us. There you go, Rahul. Yeah. Yeah. You can, especially if you're a minimalist, if it's forced on you, you were brought up poor. I remember it was down to, single dollars. I remember taking a gal to a dinner one time and I didn't know how expensive the restaurant was. Well, the bill came out to $110. Now she really liked me for that, but I ended up having to really pare down my grocery bill or my grocery budget for 2 weeks. So it wasn't worth it. But when you have that experience, that is, especially when you're growing up and your brain is forming, that is hardwired. And it's really hard to should I? Ooh, I don't know. So I think someone else had a question about balancing minimalism with riches. I've seen it. I've seen guys they got millions of dollars. And they're just oh, it's you can loosen up a little bit. Yeah, get the muscle car. Okay. It's not going to bankrupt you. You have more than enough money for 5 lifetimes, especially the way you live it so cheaply. So there is a risk there that minimalists who tend to save money, in order to build up wealth, you need to spend less than you make. And then the leftover money is called savings. And then you invest it and that grows over time. And so, the quickest way to tell someone's poor is you look at their car, that's a fancy car and you got a car loan on that. Every rich car out there, okay, I should say 99% of the cars out there that are rich are not owned by rich people. Okay. Real rich people don't have fancy cars. They wouldn't tell you. They won't let you know. People who don't have money, they're the ones getting their fancy cars. DG Aftershock for $2. Yo, Mr. C, drop shipping. Am I right, dude, bro? Yep. That's all you have to do is become a drop shipper. Oof. I didn't eat today. I'm having a weak spell. Give me a second here. There we go. Okay. All right. So that's it. That's all the super chats. If you guys kindly would, the links are everything down below. Books in the seminar, not just my own, but Dave Ramsey's. Check or look at that Early Retirement Extreme. And then yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you want, look, you got finance questions, shoot them over. You can go to aholeconsulting.com, and it's not spelled aholeconsulting.com. It's spelled the entire way. And we'll see you guys later. Toodles.